We are live. I guess we are. So let me see. Can I put that? So let me see. Hello, everyone. If we're live, we're live. And I say hello. Welcome. Yes, it's working. So I can hear myself from the past. All right. So we are getting into August the 1st. In three minutes, about 3 minutes here where I am. In 3 minutes, it's August. So we're and happy birthday Switzerland is yes, it's Switzerland's birthday, August the 1st. And Switzerland will be 730 years old. Yes, great, fantastic. Congratulations, you're old. Yes, so, okay, everything seems to be all right. And so we are live, and we're live for Patreon as well. We are live on YouTube. Welcome to everyone in this moment. I'm very happy to connect with you in any moment it may happen. It's still now because it's always now all over the universe and there is no time. We create time, but time is created and it's not something that exists outside of us. So, yes, I will repeat this always and forever because, well, it's fun to repeat what people do not believe and remind them what they do not understand. Well, obviously not everyone that is listening, but some people may not be aware of that. And it's fun to have them having some contradictory information because, well, I'm pissed. I'm really pissed. I've been pissed all week with all the bullshit that I have been listening to by all these funny people that are just externalizing reality. Well, that's not fun. No, it's fun. But anyway, yes. So, August. And what is going on? Well, there is first of all something that is really that I have realized, and it's absolutely the consequence of what I'm saying here. This disconnect that there is, and in this moment, I think that maybe hi Rox, I was talking about you right now. I was talking about you. I was coming to you because I was saying that following this weekend, all the disconnect that I've been saying and all this bullshit that I have been seeing here and there and all the externalization of reality that is, when you witness it at some point, it becomes painful to witness it. So this comes back to what Roxy was saying last Sunday, nearly 1 week ago, during her live, in making your words small, and that's exactly what it's needed. She's absolutely and completely right. Roxanne Swinehart, so go and check her. Odyssey of Ascension. Go. After this, stay here now. Go after this and check Odyssey of Ascension. But yes, make your word small and stay there. Stay in your word. So stay in your reality. Stay in your now, and don't go anywhere else. Don't don't allow that externalization to be thrown to you or to accept it. Simply stay in your words, and it's not limitation. It's not renouncing on anything. It's simply being you, doing you, and staying with you in your reality, and not letting all of that, yeah, externalization. And there is nothing wrong in this, in believing that reality is external. I mean, we've done that for how long now? And somehow that's not stopping stopping humanity to exist and to create and to be created and to go right, to go on like that. However, when you do this work on yourself, whether you call it shadow work, whether you call it spirituality, whether you call it whatever the fuck you want to call it doesn't really matter, because it's just a identity that you are creating for yourself anytime that you give a name to something. But whatever it may be that you are doing, externalizing reality, it's not an option anymore. It has worked. Somehow it had its meaning for whatever reason, but then when you go into this work, it doesn't make sense anymore. And it doesn't make sense because it just take to stop and listen and to go into your heart center and to center yourself there and just to reflect into humanity, into this work, into creation, and you will see that. And that's funny. I was talking today with, well, yesterday now, with Rox about this, and then I was talking about, and it came out so naturally, a external reality, physical reality that will exist outside of us as an external reality will not work. It's not possible to exist in the way we perceive the external reality, because then, yes, we will be in what? In a reality with limited resources, with limitation of all sorts, and we will be in a reality with, right? It doesn't go, because then 8 billion humans on this earth, and they are already talking about 50 billions in what, 2050 or something like that. Well, anyway, that's still the stupidity of human beings that try always to project how many humans will be alive in 20, 30 years. What the fuck do we know? We don't know. We hardly know how many are existing right now. How do you want to know how many will be uh, in 20, 30 years? It's just stupid, because what is that is simply a belief system again. Why? Because the one that is discovering that with some algorithm they arrive to say that going on like this we will be 50 billions in 2050 or something like that. Well, they are doing what? They are creating the numbers, they are creating the study, they are creating the algorithm. So that means what? That they are expressing their belief system. Science is a belief system. Yes, it works. Of course it works. But it's still a belief system. Why? Because we are creator beings, therefore we create science. Ta-da! Science doesn't exist outside of us. Science is not a law. There is no law that says science is real. Science is like everything else, creating by us in the moment. So the scientist is not someone that is clever at all. The scientist is a creator being. That's all the scientist is, a creator being, creating science. And as we are all connected and that we share a lot of things as we are one, of course that science works. But at the same time, when I am expressing science, I am also creating it. So yes, it works. Not because some scientist has discovered that science, but because I am creating it in the moment and I don't need to be a scientist. So I have a nice t-shirt today, but I know that you can't see it. So no hate. See the no hate campaign, the no hate stuff. That was a really great thing that they did. Well, no hate. Yes, and so you see all of these things for me now. It's just I cannot hear talking about a science or something scientific or something discovered like a planet. We discovered a planet. No, you didn't discover the planet because first of all, if reality was externalized as you believe it is, thank you, as many believe it is, well, the planet was already there. So you didn't discover the planet was there. So there is no discovering in seeing something that was already there and that you couldn't see until you decide that there was a planet right there. That's not discovering, honey, at all. So and the planet is created, has everything. So if you put a planet in a certain place in the universe and you see it, is what is that? It's still creation. Everything is creation. And even if you externalize reality, well, it's not externalized, it's internalized. You create it, or you attract it, or you are seeing something that is there because you know that it was there. You already know it's there. So you are not discovering it, or they are not discovering it, right? Scientists are discovering nothing. That's the thing about science. It's not a discovering. Because everything is already known. Everything is already created. Also the science. And also when I hear about all these researches that they do, that they discover these things, suddenly they say one thing and then next year they say the opposite because, well, guess what? The one that created the first thing believed A, but the one that discovered, that did this, the following year a similar research, well, they believed Z. And so they discovered Z, but they previously already believed in the result. So the result is simply what? Their belief system expressed in a research. Yes, I don't believe in science. Not the science that is externalized. That is bullshit. And it's not bullshit in the sense, but it's bullshit in the sense that it's taken literally way too seriously, because there is nothing serious in science. It's created in the moment. And that's all science is. That's all researches are, created in the moment, and a reflection of a belief system, the belief system of those that have done the research. And again, of course, if I try to use that science, it most probably will work. But it will work because it was already known, and it's not something that has been invented or whatever, but it's something that we are all aligning with in our creation. And again, when I'm using that science, I'm creating it. without being a scientist. I don't need to be a scientist to create science. I'm doing it all the time, as every one of us is doing it. Right. Yeah, I like to debunk all of these ideas of how great scientists are, how great they are, how clever they are, how better they are, how so good they are into discovering things. Not because they are not good or because they need to, no, because we need to be much less serious about these things. They are doing nothing spectacular. They are not extraordinary. They are ordinary. They are absolutely the same as everyone else, as all of us. And I'm not saying that they are not doing a good job. I am saying stop being so serious about that. Because then, right, from science, we also have what? Climate change, destruction of the world, and they are even able to tell you that, yeah, this is really happening. Human activity is destroying the world, and they are proving it scientifically. They are even proving that there is a greenhouse effect around the world with a shield that is created around Earth by these greenhouse gases. That comes from our science. And when I have that science, excuse me if I don't take scientists seriously and if I laugh to their stupidity, because that's stupidity. That's bullshit. That's something that if you think with your heart, if you go into your heart, that is bullshit. That's all that is. Bullshit. That even doesn't make sense in any way, possible way. That is something that is so stupid. Saying that that actually there are gases that are creating a shield around the world that is keeping the heat inside. How does that heat come inside from in the first place? How can it come inside from the sun? Because if it's keep it inside, it must also keep it outside. Just, oh yeah, they have a response to that. They always have a response, all of these things. But then everyone believes what they want to believe, and let's now just go to the center of the problem with human activity being what is destroying the world. What is that? That is bullshit, yes, but is what also those believe that kind of thing are what? They are hating themselves. They do not love themselves because to come to the conclusion that your existence, because this is what it is. Let's now be clear and honest, and let's let go of all the bullshit of climate change being destroying the world. Why would a human believe that thing? Because they hate what? Human. Yes, that's the first thing that comes to the mind. But that's not it, because human is what? It's just a externalization. Again, the truth is that they hate themselves. They do not like being a human being, but they do not like being themselves. They don't like themselves. That's why it's so easy to many to believe in climate change being something that is really happening. Where if that were true, a greenhouse effect around on Earth, on Earth, keeping the heat inside, we should already be dead. That's the ugly truth of a greenhouse effect, is that if that were true, we should already be dead, already be extincted. Because a greenhouse effect, my darlings, it's something that is way, way, way much more strong than what we are experiencing, and it's exponential, especially at a level of a planet like planet Earth, and no one is in charge. No one can control this greenhouse effect. When you have a greenhouse, you can control your temperature. But if you have a greenhouse effect at the level of the planet, no one can control it. And a greenhouse effect is exponential. When it starts, it never ends, and it keeps going, and very, 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 very fast. So the idea that a greenhouse effect is happening on planet Earth in this moment, and that we are still here to talk about it in a externalized world, in a externalized physical world, I'm sorry, darling. We should be dead if that were true. But clearly, we're still alive. So, no. No. Even going into arguments about that, no, it doesn't make sense. Even in externalized world, it doesn't make sense. But anyway, right? What is science? It's something that you are creating in the moment for yourself. So, well, if you believe in climate change, it's because you're creating it for yourself in the moment, right? Because that is what it is. But then, that is part also of the things that I say that I go back to Roxy, and I go back to the transmission, and I go back to make your world small, because if that is part of what it's better, it's part of what you have to let go and not be focused on, because then we go back to what? We go back to energy follows awareness. So as long as humanity is focusing on climate change, well, guess what? The temperature will probably raise again and again and again, but not because there is any things like that they believe that there is, but energy follows awareness. So that is happening. Yes. Temperature, the climate is changing. Temperatures are changing. But the temperature of last year are in your memory. How can you be sure that they were the temperature that you are saying? And by the way, if we validate time, how do you know the temperature of 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago? No one knows that. No one knows, because no one has that memory, or at least no one knows that they have that memory. We have that memory. We could go and have that information if we wanted to, even, right? We could, of course. But what's the sense of that? Well, there is no sense in that, to be honest. But as of a awareness, no one knows what climate we had back then, because no one of us was supposed, right, to be there if we validate time. So that when they say that climate is changing and that the temperatures are rising, they don't know. No one knows. Because you don't have the comparative. To what are you comparing? Oh, yes, because they can go and with the carbon things, or with the thing, they can say the temperatures based on what? On science. But again, science is what is creating the moment. And so it's creating the moment based on the belief system of those that are creating the science. So those people have the belief system that the temperature have never been as high as they are right now. Do you think that in those conditions they will find any science that will contradict that belief system? Hell no, because that's not part of their belief system. And as long as the belief system says that the temperature are rising and that they have never been as high as they are right now on Earth, well, they will never discover that in the past there were temperatures that were higher. Because then, if they were able to discover that going against their belief system, well, then it means that at some point we should be able to see men flying, because then it means that there are no that the belief system are just not valid anymore. But we're not there yet. We are not there yet. We are not, as a collective, gone to that point where we are able to accept things to be different from what we believe they must be. So that science will be validated based on those belief systems. Because that's what science is. Science is mostly a belief system that the scientist is validating. And when a research is what? A scientific research is the validation of a belief system. It's not the discovery. They are not discovering. There is no discovering in science. It's a validation of a belief system. That's why when people comes with their externalized reality, giving science and pretending that there must be a science confirming, that there must be a research or facts that validate anything that we discover. We don't know until it's validated by science or whatever like that. Go the fuck out. Leave. Leave. Absolutely leave. Because that is the complete externalization of reality. People that require proofs cannot. Those proofs becomes what? Their identity. It becomes what? A meaning of life. How to stay alive, how they identify themselves. And without those proofs, they cannot keep going. So that's not for us. It's all right. It's all right. You cannot convince everyone, and you cannot give to everyone your point of view. If that is what they are in, good. It's not for us, because well, I will never prove anything, and I don't need to, and I am not asking for. And I know that I don't need proofs. I know what I am. I know what reality is, and I know how reality comes to be. I don't need proofs for that. I don't. Because then, if I were to need proofs, well, then I don't believe in myself. Then I don't accept myself. Then I put myself in a position of proving my belief systems. Or I probably could find a way to create proofs for myself. And I am probably certainly doing it in many ways. Yes, we do prove to ourselves what we believe. We are creator beings. and, and of course, but that is for ourselves. And those proofs are still for ourselves, because that's what we do. We create our reality, not someone else's reality. Because the meaning of the game is that whatever I am saying right now, it's still what my belief system expressed. It's my story expressed. It's me expressed. Because that's what reality is. It's always us. And everything I'm just said comes from that. I'm always expressing me. Ta-da. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is real for every one of us. That is why, for some people, climate change is real. It is. They are living it. And they have proofs that of its existence. Of course they have proof of its existence. Oh, it's hot. It's hotter. But hot or not hot, isn't that a perception? And as we are created being, if we want it to be hotter, well, it's going to be hotter, right? I will have a increase of temperature, whether the temperatures are going higher or not. Oh, sorry, I forgot. We are creating the heat for ourselves. There is no externalization, there is no external reality. So if I'm hot, it's because I'm creating myself hot. Because there is no climate. I am creating it. Yeah. As you are, as every creator being is doing it. And I am not in anyone else's reality. I mean, I can be in other, obviously, I am in other people's reality, but I only know my point of view. I will never know their point of view. And to be honest, I don't care about their point of view, not because it's not important. Of course, it's important for them, it's important, but I have mine, and that's what is important for me. It's yours is important for you, obviously, right? We are not here. This idea that we have to be, oh, come on, we have to be about ourselves, and that's all we need to be. And by being ourselves and taking care of ourselves, obviously we're taking all care of the all, always. We are all connected and we are part of the all. So anything you do for yourself, you're doing it for the all. That's obvious. And the idea that of, well, there are many ideas, but that's the main thing. And in the end, that's all you can do, is take care of yourself as and being yourself, and allowing yourself to be the best version of you that you can ever be. And that's what you are anyway. And so you don't really need to do any effort in order to be that, because you already are that, because you can only create yourself in that way. So where is the effort in that? Well, there is no effort. And I know that for many humans, the idea that in order to be the best version of you doesn't require effort is so mind-blowing that they lose their identity completely, because their identity is a identity of suffering and a identity to conquer better is something that you have to struggle with, and that you have to give all you have in order to achieve it. So it becomes an achievement, it becomes a goal. Right? And what we are saying is that you don't need that. You already are the best you ever. So that's terrible, isn't it? It's terrible because it means that all of those people competing, all those competitions that they are doing, where they are spending so much training, and they have all this concept, or they are the concept they have around that are so funny. Um, Training and you have to suffer no gain without pain, right? That these kind of things. um, Talent is nothing on no talent is for 10% of your success, but the work is 90% of your success. Mhm. Yes, okay, but what is that? It's still a belief system. A belief system around the fact that in order to achieve something, you have to suffer. But you know what? I love, by the way, watching sports. So I absolutely love watching sport. But to be honest, right now, I am not into the illusion of saying that, of believing that the performance that is done by anyone in a competition is something that requires anything, because I absolutely know that the results that they are of that competition are just one version of reality. There are so many ways, that infinite ways that that competition is going, and everyone is winning, no one is losing. So I cannot really relate to those that are so desperate because they lost. They didn't lose. No one is a loser. No one is losing anything. Except, yes, there is a reality where they lose the game. Yes. And there is the reality where they win. It's what? Attraction to have one or the other. Uh, but in their perspective, they probably win. In their own perspective, they probably will win. Yes. Of course. Why should they lose? They lose when they are unworthy of winning. Yes. Yeah. Because that's what losing is. That's what punishing oneself is that you cannot win because you're not worth the win. And a lot of times, the losing or not being worth winning is just a guilty feeling, or a feeling that you are not worth winning, that you haven't suffered enough in order to win, that you should have trained more. You should have been more in order to be allowed to win, so you can only lose because others are more worthy of the winning. So, sport is as everything else. So much lag expressed by some, and so much worthiness expressed by others, like in any other aspect of life, and so much bullshit expressed by so many around sports. Oh my goodness. The idea of the external god that would intervene into sports in order to make one win and the other lose. Why should any god, even externalize, like the Christian or the Muslim, or whatever god you want to think about or you believe in, or whatever, why should that god make one win and the other one lose? Why? Because one is more worthy than the other? Oh, then we are talking about what? About a god that is unjust. Because where is the justice in making one win and the other lose? When maybe the one that wins is a cheater. When maybe the one that is winning is rich and has more opportunity to train, more opportunity to do things. So why should that one win? They have an easy life, and the other one that is losing doesn't have the money for having a better training, and blah 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 blah. Right? So That doesn't make sense at all to have that externalization of and that requirement of having the favor of God. My goodness, how disempowering it is, how pitiful it is, how little it is to believe that you need a externalized God to create or to give you the victory. Well, it's the same with wars, actually, right? The wars where God will intervene in order to make one win and the other lose, because obviously God prefers one over the other, but these gods are supposed to have created the war. So why would them choose a side and therefore making one better than the other, one more worthy of godly liking than the other, when all is created by that God? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, people. We are again into externalization of reality, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense because it requires to admit that God will favor one of its created beings or of its minions there over the other. And I cannot see it. I cannot see it because I have in that I should accept that idea that God is favoring or even interested. Is then will that external God be interested in sport? Why? Oh, yes. Because when we think of the externalized God, we are not thinking of a godly figure. No, we are humanizing that God. That God is completely the image of the human. Oh, so it's not that godly, right? Not at all. It's more human than human. It's funny. Create a God, a externalized God, right? That is human. Isn't that funny? Because honestly, why do all this effort into creating a God that is supposed to be the creator of everything and then make that God human? When all of those that are focusing on that external God, they hate human. They absolutely hate human. So many humans are so not liking themselves. Why would you believe in a God that is that human? Why would you make God human when you can't stand human? And you create so many excuses to leave, to hate, to want to leave and to just yeah. So all of this to say again, going back to the transmission that Roxy had last Sunday, make your words small and internalize it. It's because the reality it's internal. It's absolutely inside. There is absolutely nothing outside of you. And all of these things that comes that you're attracting about this, about that, whether it's science, whether it's sport, whether it's I mean it's nothing wrong into right watching sport but take away comments. It's better just to watch it. But right, nothing wrong, but keep it small. Keep it small. Really keep it so that you really keep it creation as a internal because that's what it is. It's internal, and it it's the basic now. It's really the thing that we have to um, normalize for ourselves. It's the internalization of reality. This is internal. This is not external. A physical external reality, as we have validated through mainly through religion, actually, that's not a thing. It does, it does, it does look like that, right? Yes, it does. But again, it doesn't. And yes, it's it's a good job. It's a good work. It's a good habit now to have that understanding. But now the fact of internalized reality, that understanding that the creation happens inside of us, and okay, let's understand ourselves. When we talk of internalized reality, of creation is something that happens inside of us, we say inside. Why? Because we are humans and we do not have the wording, the ability to express precisely how it's done. And the inside of us literally means that we, as a global being, a global self, we exist in every moment as that global self. We do not leave our global self. We do not divide it really. We do not, nothing. We are a global being where we stay and where our reality is created. That's where it happens. We are a thought. That's all we are, a thought. The original thought, we could say, but that's what we are, a thought created by our bigger being, by ourselves, because we are that, right? We are never leaving home, we are never leaving ourselves. So we are that self. Yes, yes. We do not express all the time that global self. We are the fractal realities. We are that. Yes. But we still are that all the time because we are not living. We are not disconnected. We are representing ourselves. That's a way to put it. So that's where creation is happening. That's where creation is projected. That's where the thought is created. But it's real. Because when you touch physical, when you touch reality, it is there. When I touch myself, it's real. No one is denying reality. Reality is happening. And it's physical, and it's all that you can say it is. But again, it doesn't mean that it happens in anywhere else than in yourself. because as reality is created as what, it's energy, well, then you are you are a vibration, and this is your vibration. All this is matching with your vibration. That's why it's there in your reality, all of this. And it's real. Yeah, of course, it's you. Mm-mm-mm. So all these things, all this story, all that we are experiencing is real, and in many ways. But right, I have noticed that there are things that there are things that are scientifically proven, or things that people tell that, right, they are believing in those things, and they say, well, this is what happens if this happens, this is what happens, or if this is this is that, right, then that. Okay, right. Okay, people say that, even science is saying things, and I say no. I No, that's not the thing. I don't believe that, and that doesn't happen in my reality. It doesn't happen. And you can see that very often in healing work, in healing, in that kind of thing, right? Science says that some people should die in 2 3 months, or maybe in some weeks, and 20 years later they are still alive. How is it possible that science is that wrong, that that someone should die thrive so long, and people that are very healthy, that have nothing, in 1 month they are dead? And how is that some illnesses that should be practically killing everyone, they don't? And some illnesses that shouldn't kill anyone, but well, they kill some people. Mm. How is it that um, for some people there are remedies that work, and then another one uses the same remedy and it doesn't work at all for them? How is it? Hmm? Well, maybe because there are no laws, no one is in charge, so that things just work based on what? On creation, on the moment. There are things that are simply the way they are created, and it doesn't matter what science says, because science, and I'm using science generally, it's not a law. It's nothing written in a stone that tells you how things happen when something happens. What is the consequence of this? Well, if this happens, well, that should happen. No, not should. If this happens, this happens. That is the concept of science. Hmm? And then things doesn't go that way. So many times, so many exceptions. And that's the problem, right? With the idea of a externalized reality where there is a science, where there is a, well, exceptions do happen. But when you have a reality that is where you have laws, well, the exceptions shouldn't exist. They simply shouldn't. Because we are going into absolute. And those absolute simply do not work. They go nowhere. because exceptions do happen. And as I said, we have ways to create for ourselves proofs that our beliefs are true or are correct, or there are ways to validate those. Well, this is one of those ways, is that you have information, you have things that are happening that do not make sense in regards of what the externalized reality is supposed to be. We shouldn't have exceptions. Not in science, not in that science that is so good and so well proved. And clearly it's not proved because there are exceptions. And if I have just only one exception on a something that should be have been proven, well, it means that it's not proven. And very often the scientists say, I don't understand why this is happening. Well, guess what? No kidding. They don't know. Well, if you don't know what is happening, how can you know when it's happening? How can you know that your science is correct? Well, you can't. So, back to make your word small. To make it small. It's it's really a very good place to be with yourself, to be in your reality, to be there with you, because that's what you are all the time, with you. You loving yourself. But you know, I've been saying so much about how humans, but that's the human, right? That is the human that is not liking themselves. That's the human perspective. That's not the creator perspective. The creator perspective, creator is unconditional. The hate is conditional. It's a condition, but and conditions are human. They are not godly. They are not created. That's not the creator. So absolutely, when you have that kind of thing, so when we are talking about um, not loving yourself or not loving, right, that kind of thing, well, you know that we're talking about human, the fractal. We're not talking about the creator, because the creator is unconditional. So the creator doesn't know self-hate. Why should the creator know that kind of thing? Well, it doesn't. Yeah. Um, and so when I'm talking about that, this kind of things, right? Of that, I'm always, as I'm saying, I'm also referring to the human side, to the fractal, because again, the creator is unconditional, and that's very important, right? It's very understand that creator unconditional. There are no conditions. There are no condition in you being a human. There are no condition in you being a creator. There are no condition on you having human experiences. That's what you are supposed to have. Experiences. That's why you incarnated yourself, to have experiences as a human. To experience the human reality, the human expression of creation. To experience forgetting what you are, and then to experience remembering. And then we will experience what? We will experience God, ourselves, because we will go back to God. We are back to God, and we have never left. And suddenly we will just be able to express ourselves in that way. Godly, creation, creator. And we are. But as human, we will still be human. But you see, no one has ever said that human is less than. And actually, human is not less than, because, as I said before, we are the creator. We still are. We are. And we have never been anything else than the creator, than ourselves. And therefore, we cannot be less than, because we are ourselves. We are the creator. We are God. Even in those moments where we are not, if we were judging, we may just see ourselves in a bad way. But even those moments, we are expressing God, because we are expressing creation, because we are expressing the human experience. Even if we are the fractal, the created fractal. Yes. And we will never leave human for eternity, because this is what we have chosen to express. But again, human is not less than. Human is equal to everything else. And that's why human is so fucking amazing. And believe me, if you, as a creative being, didn't want to express human, well, you won't express human, because you won't align with any need of human experience. But as you exist, and clearly you exist, then this is what you prefer. This reality is exactly what you prefer. What you are creating is exactly what you prefer. And even when you are saying that you fucking hate your life, that you fucking hate doing your job, that you fucking hate whatever you are doing in that moment, well, you are creating it. So clearly, that is what you want to express. That is what you want to have as an experience. So that cannot be anything else than your expression of your higher state in that moment. Whatever it may be, and even if you are expressing fractal, that is in that moment what you want to express. Therefore, that is the expression of your perfection. Because you are perfect in any moment. There is no other way to put it. There is no other way to be. And we cannot be in any other way. So yes, human is fucking amazing. And human is God as well. So we have to recognize it. We have to see it. We have to be it. But we are it. We simply have to recognize it. Stop the denial. Stop bullshitting ourselves. Oh, we do that very well. We like to do that, don't we? Yes. And no one is judging except you. Every time you are judging, every time you think you are judging, well, you are. Every time you think someone else is judging you, It's you judging yourself. There's no one else, right? Good. So make your word small, be your word, be in your word, be in your moment, and have fun. Because we can absolutely have fun. And I mean, right? It's sometimes hearing all that bullshit around but it can be fun. It's fun because it's so stupid that it is. Sorry. Not sorry. It's stupid. Um, a lot of that bullshit is really that stupidity. But that's from my perspective. That's from my point of view. Clearly, those that are being stupid, they don't know it. So it's fine. And they are expressing themselves in the best way they know and the way they choose. But that belongs to them, not to me, not to you. So, good. Goodbye. I still do me. I stay with me. And that's all. Yeah, it's, I think it's so good. So good to simply recognize our how amazing we are. We are ordinary, right? But the ordinary has to be understood as not extraordinary in the sense that we are more than anyone else or better than anyone else. It's in the sense that we are all equal. That's the equality. The real equality is we are not extraordinary in anything we do. The think of defining what we do as extraordinary is what it's fractal. It's the human that is just not understanding what they are, and so they see the extraordinary, but in reality it's ordinary. We are all able to do all these things. Healing, everyone is able to heal. We heal ourselves, and also the idea of healing others, well, everyone can do that. Absolutely everyone can do that. Being a light worker, a light bearer, we are all of us, we are. Some of us simply don't do it, simply don't realize it, simply don't accept it, or they're not aware. But it doesn't matter. You don't need to be aware. But we are all, absolutely all, right? And then humans need to be guided. And sometimes, yeah, as liber, you guide other humans, right? But the potential is there for everyone. It's not limited to some elite, right? So that's why when you have when you have these people that are talking about, right, superiority, elites, and some being, or sometimes still hears, right, these ideas of superiority, right? Yeah, no. No, no. It may be flattering for your ego to have a notion of superiority. Very good, very good. Let it have it. You are still not superior to anyone. We are all equal. And then we are human. And as humans, we are not equals. We are not. The human, the fractal, the human experience is not meant to be equal. It's meant to be a human experience. And as we have this thing, well, we are not equals as humans. But in creation, we are. You must see the difference now. You cannot miss the difference because there is a huge difference between the equality that we are and that is built in creation for all of creation, and what is the human experience. And as every one of us, we are all having our human experience. That's normal that we are not having the same human experience. We need to have differences, and that's why we're not equal as humans. That's why some are rich, some are poor, but they are not that or that because one is better and the other is not is worse. No, it's the human experience that is expressed through rich and not rich. And then in the human world, in the human experience, well, you build your story, your history around that. Each one of us does. But from a creation point of view, there are no differences. There, there is no rich better, poor worse. There is no the rich is rich because they are deserving it. The poor is deserving to be poor. No, no, they are having experiences, and there is no karma to determine that. Right? There is not the idea of punishment. Oh, you are poor because you need to be punished about all those lifetimes. Those lifetimes are happening right now, simultaneously. So you cannot be punished for something that you haven't even done. Just all right. I've been babbling for 1 hour, and it's 1 a.m. and Switzerland is still 700 and let me make the math, 30 years old today. But I don't think that it's yet because at 1 a.m. they. I'm joking. I'm joking. Right. Okay. Thank you for being here with me. To joining in and connecting and being here in this moment, and I will be seeing you soon. So next on the 10th, I'll have the Patreon transmission exclusive for the patrons, and then I'll have the Crucible session for the Patreon subscribers. Well, and for that, you can join my Patreon. The link is in the description. And then what remains me to say is that, well, I love all of you. I love you, and I thank you for joining. And I will be seeing you in the next moment. I think, yeah, and live stream. I have to end it here.